Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video we're going to start collecting Kings of War Ambush, a brand new style of play for Kings of War. This game focuses on a more smaller size scale, helping new players get into the game with an easy to play rule set. Now, in this video, we're going to take a look at the Goblin army box for the game, and we're going to take a look at how we can use all those models to start an army. We'll talk about the contents of the box set, how we can build them, and all the different rules for a bunch of units, and then look at some other units we can use to expand upon this initial purchase. Finally, we'll finish off the video with a little sample army list of 750 points for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own Goblin army in Kings of War. And so, the contents of this box set. First of all, we get 40 Goblin infantry. These can be built in a variety of different ways, from spitters, which are our ranged infantry unit with 24-inch bows and a range of 5+, or they can be built as rabble, which are our sword and board unit. They have 12 attacks on a regiment. We can only take regiments of 20 of them. There's no smaller size units for Goblins infantry. And we also have the option for sharp sticks, which I think for me, especially in ambush where you're wanting to make sure that the heavy hitting sort of cavalry units of the game can't get through your lines, the phalanx rule is incredibly important, stopping things like thunderous charge and all of that. They've also got a defensive 4+, melee 5+, 15 attacks on a regiment here. I think, for me, sharp sticks are certainly the way to go with this first lot. We also get 6 trolls in the box set. These are a great, powerful, heavy-hitting unit. Regiments of them have 9 attacks, and they've got a melee 4+, defense 5+, crushing strength 2, and regeneration 5+ on top of that, which is really, really cool. So not only a nice high defense there, but also regeneration on them as well. Now, the Goblin Mincer is one of the monsters we can take for our Goblins. It's a chariot type monster. Now, it has a bunch of special rules like Big Shield, Brutal, Crushing Strength 1, and Thunderous Charge 1. It has a melee of 4+ with D6 + 6 attacks, which is really nice, and defense of 4+ on there as well. So, sufficiently survivable. This thing can go around, especially and sort of tear up the battlefield and be a really nice heavy hitting piece alongside your trolls. You've got, in those sort of 3 units there, you've got Goblins to hold the line, you've got Trolls, this nice heavy hitting piece, and the Mincers can sort of go around and be a outflanking piece for you. Now, the army is led by a Goblin Big Git. Goblin Big Gits are pretty much a basic sort of Goblin hero, melee and defense 4+, crushing strength 1, individual and inspiring. There's nothing really to write home about. They can be mounted on a fleabag, though this one is obviously not in the picture you can see there. And they can choose to drop their two-handed weapon for a short bow, losing crushing strength but gaining the range attack short bow, range 4+ for free. Now, looking at where we can go next, there's a bunch of cool units to think about bringing into our Goblin force, and the first one is Fleabag Riders. These are a cavalry unit available to us, and they have the Nimble keyword, which on a unit that is sort of like a heavy cavalry unit, I would say, it's a really nice keyword, a special rule to have available to them. Thunderous Charge 1 as well, and Vicious in melee are all really nice rules to have on a cavalry unit. They've got 7 attacks for a troop, and a regiment has a nice 14, melee 4+, and defense 4+ on them as well. They can also take a Morp Up, which a bunch of different Goblin units can. This is a pretty cool little army special upgrade for the Goblins, where units equipped with a Morp Up, which must be used when the unit attacks in melee. During the melee, a Morp Up grants the unit an additional 6 attacks, which always hit on a 4+ and resolve with Crushing Strength 1. These attacks should be resolved separately before the unit's normal attacks and do not inherit special rules from the unit, nor do they double triple attacks against flanks and or rears. The unit's Morp Up is then destroyed and cannot be used for the remainder of the game, and a unit can only carry out a single Morp Up at a time. So, pretty cool sort of rule, like to add into the unit to give it, a nice little bit of extra punch. Nice little deterrent for, what unit's going to be the first one to charge into your Goblins. Now, looking at a more elite Goblin unit, we have the Luggit Gang. Now, Luggit Gang are carrying the giant two-handed weapons. They've got Brutal, Crushing Strength 1, and Wild Charge D3. They can take Morp Ups as well. They've got a defense and a melee of 4+, and 15 attacks for a troop, or 20 for a regiment. They're just going to be, a much heavy-hitting sort of Goblin unit, but still, on that melee of 4+, and not particularly elite. They're elite for Goblins, I would say. And, getting a unit like that with a regiment for 160 points is not too bad at all. Now, of course, something that the Goblins can bring to the table for a monster or for a Titan is a Giant. These things can absolutely hit hard. Melee 4+, defense 5+, d6 plus 8 attacks. They've got Brutal, Crushing Strength 4, Fury, and Strider. These things hit so hard. They can choose to gain Rampage, or they can give it a Giant Cleaver for gain Slayer and change its d6 attack profile. Pretty cool stuff here. Like, these things just hit so hard. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is probably one of my favourite pieces, the Wingit. This is a monster model available for the Goblins. It has the fly and nimble keywords. It's effectively a Goblin plane. Now, it has one of the following options for free. You can choose either ramming speed, where it increases nerve to 13-15, attacks to 5 and melee up to 4+, and gains thunderous charge and vicious melee. Or Bombs Away, where it gains a range 4+, and the Eye of the Sky unique special rule. And the following range attack: fire bombs, a 12-inch range, attack 3, blasty 3, ignores obscured, piercing, steady aim, and vicious ranged. Now, the Eye in the Sky special rule: at the start of each of your range phase, you can immediately target and mark an enemy unit anywhere within 24 inch of this unit, regardless of line of sight. For the remainder of the turn, all friendly core units with a lobber keyword are marked and have the elite range special rule. So, a pretty cool rule, you know, working alongside some other units like lobbers and stuff like that. For me, it's a Goblin plane. That's pretty awesome. And so here we have our sample army list for you for the Goblins, 750 points on the nose. Now, we've got our 2 units of Sharpsticks, both with Morpups. I think, you know, these form the really big core of the force. They're going to, you know, sit in the middle of our lines and really try to hold the opponent at bay. Sharpsticks are way better than any other option for doing this in ambush. The phalanx rule is just super good. Now, we've got a unit of Fleabag Riders for a nice heavy hitting unit that can get to where it needs to get. This is a cavalry unit. They've got their Morpup equipped with them as well for a nice little bit of oomph on their first ever charge. You know, this can be a unit that goes around and tries to take the flanks and tries to hit our opponent's units where it hurts. Meanwhile, we have Trolls. These are going to provide some nice flanking cover for our Sharpsticks. You can stick these into lanes. They're a good sort of unit that's going to require your opponent to actually put a decent amount into them, otherwise they're going to regen back up. So they're good in holding ground. And then we have the Mincer in there as a nice little utility piece. Can go up one flank, can work alongside, potentially charge in and try to outflank when the Sharpsticks are in combat. And then we've got the Hero for the Big Git as well in there, leading the army. 750 out of 750 points, 5 troops and regiments, and 2 unlocked units. If you've been playing with Goblins in Kings of War, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on the Goblin starter set, how you'd put it together. What unit would you add in? Would you take the Fleabag Riders, or are there other options you would like to take for your Goblins instead of them, or upgrade some of the other units? Let us know down in the comments below your thoughts on the Goblins in Kings of War. And so that is the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, come and join our Discord and join in the conversation there. We chat all things wargaming and other things besides as well. If you'd like to do that, you can come join via the descriptions linked to the server. Now, also linked down in the video's description is the best ways to support the channel via Patreon or YouTube members, or indeed grabbing some merch from our merch stores on either Teespring or on Ko-fi. As a special thank you to everyone who does support the channel on Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So, thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Alder and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising 8, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Bloobs, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Aaron DeHaven, Kevin Bowman, and Iron Grinch. And a special thank you to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Man Killer, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, and James South. Lastly, a special thank you to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel as well. Couldn't do this without you. Thank you all to everyone for watching once again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.